I want to thank Jonathan personally for his commitment and belief in RavenPack. We have been a profitable company for the last 5 years, cash flow positive, but it was nice to find someone that believed in us and thought we could do a lot more with a little bit of extra money. So it's exciting to embark on this partnership with Draper Esprit, and it's time for me to talk to you about really why we're here and what we've been working so hard to produce. I want to start you off with a quick video that highlights some of the new things that we're doing and the direction that we're heading. So why don't we kick that off?
We all strive to make informed decisions, but we are exposed to so much information so quickly that we struggle to make sense of it. Information moves faster than ever, and we are at a point where it's impossible to keep up with the details without losing track of the big picture. There is a better way. RavenPack takes on the heavy lifting, analyzing thousands of sources of information in the blink of an eye. From investing and trading, risk management and compliance, to competitive intelligence, we find what you need to know, identify the things you need to watch, and the topics driving your decisions. Our big data platform delivers analytics you can easily download and incorporate into your own applications. Fuel your ideas with our powerful visualization tools. Leverage our unique information advantage and focus on what truly matters. This is decision-making evolved. This is RavenPack.
So decision-making evolved, it's very important to us as we think about something that Jonathan alluded to and quite correctly and well articulated what we do, right? We're in the business of producing data. And the challenge that we face is producing quality data from unstructured information. So for those that know RavenPack or consume RavenPack at the moment, there are plenty of data fields that you can use and you can plug into your trading models, into your algo execution systems. But today we're announcing specific changes around the way we create data. One of the key things that we've developed is the ability to analyze a 100-page document in the same amount of time that it takes us to analyze a news story. So one of the challenges that we face is how do we do very long documents, very complex documents in a fraction of a second. And just to give you some context, if you were to blink your eyes right now, it'll take you about 300 milliseconds. We read, analyze, and deliver structured analytics in less than 200 milliseconds. And not only can we do that with news stories, we can now do it with very long documents, filings, research reports, you name it. Doesn't matter the size. It'll go through the same system, and the analytics will be produced in the exact amount of time that we used to do a news story. So that's an important improvement. The second thing is we can detect events inside these long documents. We were pretty good at extracting the most important information from the headline of a news story, and that's where most of the key data comes from. But now we can detect events anywhere in the document. So if someone releases some important fact that might affect the company's future, let's say managers are hiding key information in the press releases in areas where we probably wouldn't look at unless we read through the article carefully. RavenPack's algorithms can go into it and tag exactly where the mentions are, exactly where the events are, irrespective of where it's mentioned in the document. So this is a very powerful improvement, we think, in that it will help you take advantage of key information that is typically hidden in these very long documents. The second thing is we've identified how relevant these little nuggets of information are, irrespective of where they are, and we will give you a relevance score so that you can decide whether the information they provide is useful or not. So for every single mention, for every single detection, we will provide you a score. And then you can filter, or you can aggregate, and use as you see fit. The third innovation in our data set are temporal analytics. We can now detect the date, the time that is revealed in the event. So for example, if a company announces they're planning to lay off 10,000 people, you might wonder, are they going to do that imminently? Or if the company says, we plan to release or fire 10,000 people in the next 5 years, that might be different than doing an imminent layoff. We plan to launch a product in April of 2017. Important, it's in the short term. Or we plan to launch the product on April 22 or 22nd of 2018. Big difference in a year from now. So these are the types of pieces of information that are in these documents, and we can extract them and associate them to the event and then deliver that data in a machine-readable format. And then finally, we've added some new premium sources. Our friends from Benzinga joined the RavenPack ecosystem. We've got content from The Fly, also known as Fly on the Wall. We've got content from Alliance News out of the UK, giving us some great coverage of LSE-listed stocks. And our friends at FactSet are providing us estimates, earnings estimates, and other fundamental data points that we can now combine with information we tease out of the actual news stories. So we've got lots of new content that is powering the new platform. The new thing that we focused on is how do we make it simple for the more discretionary or fundamental users that are not looking to explore the entire RavenPack database. And so we've embarked in this new path where we curate data for our clients. So we come up with very small or manageable data sets that you can pick and choose from our website, and you can download those data sets, typically fitting in an Excel file, right? So if you want something about interest rates, or you want information affecting a small portfolio of stocks, we are likely to have something pre-created for you, or you can go ahead and create your own. So the idea is, how do we make our data more accessible to those that are non-systematic or accustomed to working with very large data sets? Everything that we do is about entities. So we look for information that might affect an entity. And in this particular product, we've now increased our coverage when it comes to companies. We're over 43,000 companies, mostly public, that are tracked as real named entities in our system, all linked to tradable securities with tickers, QSIPs, ICE, and CETLs. These are being monitored 24/7 by machines. And if there's anything about those companies, we will let you know. All right, in the same way as we do companies, we cover every major currency. We're also going into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. We're looking and covering every commodity, every government organization, top level to ministries and specific departments within certain countries. Great coverage of the G20 countries. We're also doing a lot of work on geolocations, places, things that happen in certain towns, cities, countries. What's really new is our ability to detect products. We had many customers asking, what about events that affect a specific product, like the Samsung Galaxy exploding? That's a big problem that affects a specific line of products that Samsung delivers. We want analytics on those individual products. So we started with a list of about 1,000 products that our clients requested, and we now have the ability to take on demands from our clients saying, you know what, start covering these healthcare products, or start covering these consumer products. We have a great team that can now add more and more of these well-defined entities, and the algorithms can basically monitor them and connect them to the companies that own them or sell them. So you can really narrow down to things that are happening at the micro level. The next thing we've added is people. We've included so far about 7,000 key executives and politicians. Every major active president, minister of every major country. We've got about 120 countries that we cover. Every CEO of a major listed company will be in our system. And of course, any person or individual that you would like us to add to the database, we're more than happy to do so. And then finally, we did this for kicks. We thought tracking teams would be fun, you know? So we added every team in the NFL and every team in the Premier League. So there are events like injuries and trades and all sorts of things that could be classified into events, and potentially applications, whether it's betting or leisure, whatever that might be. But it's a start. We thought it would be cool. Let's start tracking teams. And just like that, our database is growing with more and more information about things that people care about. The major change in the way we deliver data is what we call self-service. Now, in self-service, where before everything that we did was in flat files that you would download, as well as an API where you would pipe every single piece of information that we extracted, in self-service, you can actually go through a very simple process where you can fill out a form. I only want data on these 100 companies, and I only want events about M&A, or I only want events about earnings. And you can very quickly, as a business user, filter for the things that you care about. And what our system does is it takes your query and it goes into the cloud. Right? You might recall I mentioned that as an important transition for us. It goes behind the scenes and it cuts a data set for you in Excel or in CSV or in a text file with the exact specifications that you define. And it does it really, really quick. Literally minutes, you can have a full file with exactly the things that you care about. Once it's ready, you get an email and you get a link and you can download that data set from wherever you are. So it's a very powerful business UI that is both useful to quantitative users as well as discretionary users that want to quickly configure the data that they want. Everything that we do from the dataset builder is powered by an API. So we open up those APIs so that you can make those requests yourself. If you're a more sophisticated user, you can make the request to pull the data that you need. You can also get data pushed to you in real time. It takes a couple of lines of code as opposed to what we had before where there was a client that you would install on a Linux or Windows machine. Now it's just a web API to get data both historically as well as in real time. Super simple. The next major thing we've developed is a brand new visualization platform. It models the same sort of process that business intelligence companies have adopted. It's a simple canvas where you can create a dashboard, and we've created these widgets or modules that you drag and drop to visualize aspects of the RavenPack database. Every widget can show you something unique. For example, we built a tree map where you can see the size of every company as a rectangle and the color indicating whether the news is good or bad. Right? The size tells you how much information or media attention they're getting, and you can do the same thing for companies or people or countries or commodities, you name it. Tree maps is one, charts, feeds, and we'll continue to add every visualization tool you can imagine that is all web-based, super simple, drag and drop, pick the data you want, and more importantly, it is powered by either curated data sets that we've already built, so it'll take you about 5 seconds to drag and drop and then have something on the screen, or you can create your own data set and you can plug that into the visualization platform. So it's both powered by RavenPack curated content as well as data that you might curate yourself. Dashboards are quite flexible and they're also designed to be shared across the organization. So we envision there will be power users creating a dashboard, and those can be shared to other traders in the organization or other analysts that want to look at your work. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel necessarily. We're just trying to do and model the way business intelligence is working, trying to bring that to finance in a way that reveals interesting patterns, interesting insights from unstructured content. Something that hasn't been done before. Most of the stuff out there is about structured data. Right? It's looking at rows and columns of structured data, mostly pricing data, and trying to visualize it. We're looking to take unstructured content and make it visually intuitive for you. The third pillar of our strategy, and this is where we go a little further beyond analyzing public information. We are now looking to analyze and help our clients understand their own content. So what does this mean? We can now process on behalf of our customers every email that they have in their organization. Now, if they want to use a big data approach to anonymously, for example, look at every single email, every attachment that the email might have mentioning a company or a stock or anything of relevance or importance to the bank or the hedge fund, we can do it. And we rent RavenPack as a service. We provide a hosted solution where they can plug in their content, or we can do an on-prem deployment where we take a clone of our cloud and we clone it onto their cloud or the client's cloud and let them use our engine so that we're not seeing any of their content. Right? The second thing we can now do is analyze instant messages, whether it's IB or Slack or Skype, Symphony, doesn't matter. If it's a text message and you want it processed by a natural language processing engine, you can get it now. And we can deploy the same module, as I said, on-prem so that we never see those IMs. It's a system that goes through them systematically, tags them for companies, people, places, things, events, sentiment, good, bad. 40 to 50 different dimensions that we currently deliver on news are now available on instant messages. The third component are text documents, Word documents. So any investment note, business contracts, filings that you want analyzed systematically, you now can, using the RavenPack system. PDFs, no exception, right? We transform the original document into something we call RavenPack XML. We have a public schema of how the actual document is parsed, so you effectively normalize all of these different formats into one RavenPack XML. And that RavenPack XML is what powers all of the different applications that we have so that you can consume the data. One of the important things we realized is that many of our clients that are non-quantitative were looking for a better way to consume RavenPack, and we hadn't really figured it out. So we concentrated for many, many years, in fact since inception, at delivering data in a way that quants wanted it. And so the data file emerged. Take news, take unstructured content, host that, but transform it into a data file that you can download, and then you took over, brought that data into your R process or your MATLABs, and you did Python, and you did your work, you did your analysis, and ultimately the data itself is what you wanted. Right? So this is the way that most of our quants want it, and it only addresses about 10% of the market. Right? There's a small user base that is sophisticated enough where the data file is just the best way of accessing RavenPack data. We also learned that clients wanted the ability to get the data, but also get it continuously. So we developed web APIs, and there most of our clients are able to plug in our analytics into a production system very, very quickly. With the new web APIs, as I mentioned, it's very simple. But this is another way that we help not only the quant consumers, but also the developers within banks and hedge funds that want to use the data for other applications. We've taken it a step further, and we've created this new visualization tool. And this is where we see a much larger user base, where practically anybody that has basic skills in modeling using Excel or using any other BI platform would feel comfortable with. And this is just a great way of consuming it without being a systematic user, without being a quantitative investor or analyst. So visualization, and specifically the dashboard system that we built, makes it very easy for a very large audience within financial services to consume RavenPack data. And then finally we thought, why not build a search engine, right? Everybody in the world can use a search engine. So why don't we try to build a way for clients to look up their own content, for example, using the RavenPack metadata, using the RavenPack skill set and technology to both run searches, whether it's using keywords or not, but be able to combine it with named entities, sentiment, relationships, you name it. And more importantly, do it in a way that would make Google proud. So we try to do everything in our search engine in the same speed that Google does it. So every result is sub-second. We can take literally billions of documents that are part of your organization, and we put them into a cloud, whether it's our hosted or yours. We layer them with a RavenPack pre-analyzed content. So as I mentioned, we've taken the original content, we've analyzed it, tagged it, and then made it accessible in a special index. We use Elasticsearch clusters layered with RavenPack metadata so that when you run a search, it looks through both the actual content but also the pre-analytics that were attached to that document, so we can surface something more relevant to you in a fraction of a second. So it doesn't matter what the application is. If the client is looking to download data, they can get the data. If they want to get the data for an application, they can use our web APIs. If they want to visualize it quickly and consume it in a more intelligent way, then our dashboards and our visualization tool is the way to do it. And then finally, to address the entire user base in finance, we build a way to search through content, whether it's our own database or yours. These are the new delivery mechanisms that we've built to make big data analytics more accessible to the market. I want to thank you on behalf of the RavenPack team that has worked very hard to develop this platform. And I also want to invite you to join us later for a demo. We've got 2 stations of the visualization platform and the self-service platform where you can play around with it and try out a few queries, look at some of the data that we're producing. But before we go, I would like to open it for questions in case you want to know or have any any doubts about what I've just presented. So, any questions? Looks like it was super clear. I guess you're also waiting for me to announce that we do have a launch party. So, oh, sorry, there's one question.
Hi, Armando. Just wondering about once you analyze the data for, let's say, text documents, are you also able to, produce actions out of that? So let's say you have contracts with an expiration date, or are you able to bring that up so you get alerts, for actioning that data after the analysis?
Absolutely. The visualization platform is designed to surface information that is obviously actionable, but at the same time, everything that we build is designed or is meant for you to take action in one way or the other. So the web API, for example, is one way that our clients are getting data to generate alerts. And these alerts can be distributed directly into an algorithm that makes, obviously, trading decisions, but it can also trigger alerts that make it to the trading floor. And they arrive directly at a trader that needs to know about a specific company or a counterparty or some new risk that has emerged. So those are, in fact, two ways that people can consume and receive alerts or more actionable items from the data we produce. Okay, there's one here.
Oh, I guess I got the microphone first. Here's an actionable question. I mean, data is only what you make of it. So actionable being the key word. Can you create a news sensitivity index? Can you create news beta? Can you show per security or per QSIP how this company or this particular QSIP number reacts to news historically, has done and will do so, therefore creating some metrics for a hedge in that particular area?
Absolutely. I mean, that's really what we've dedicated our history to. We have our own data science team led by Peter Hoffes that do nothing but research on the data itself. We've actually published a paper on news beta many years ago that talks a little more in detail about how you can use it in those applications. And apart from probably 50 or 60 papers that we've written, there's a huge library of papers out there that describe how this can be applied, specifically looking at events, looking at certain words or themes or topics that affect stocks. Our taxonomy is very granular. We've got about 6,000 well-defined events that might affect currencies, commodities, companies, so you can pick and choose from that without having to worry about a keyword. So it doesn't matter how many ways one can say fraud or corruption. Anything associated with an event like that would fall inside of our taxonomy and make it very easy for the client to model it and try it, build indices around that, build indicators. So at the moment, our own data set is just over 2 billion records. For us, a record is every time that an entity in our database is mentioned. So a company is mentioned in the document, that's one record. If a commodity or a person is mentioned in the document, that would be another record. It's hundreds of gigabytes big, large, but it's all hosted. So it means once you pick the data you want or the records you need, then it becomes sizable or more manageable, so that you can download and incorporate it into your model. Great. Well, thank you again for your patience and for joining us today. We have a cocktail reception waiting outside, which I'm sure you're all happy to go to. Once again, we really appreciate your support, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
This is RavenPack.